The idea of spirit appearing, of sort of shining forth in objects of art is important. And Hegel defends a kind of twofold thesis about this. For him, it is the sensuous, material, everyday world that is the illusion, because it's not imbued enough with spirit. Art is more real in a way because it shows forth spirit. And Hegel uses the term der Schein, which literally means appearance, but also has an English cognate, which is exactly shining, a kind of shining forth. So art shines forth in the sense that it transforms the sensuous world, it transforms the material world into a representation of spirit through the work of the imagination. Hegel believed that in the Romantic, when art is moving out of the material realm into the conceptual, actually was a prologue to the end of art. Now, Hegel never said that art died. He actually never said that art would end. What he said was grand art, great art, is past. Even in his own time, he believed that as spirit grew into self-identity, that material forms, material objects were no longer adequate to represent spirit. Interestingly, the other part of his model is that as he moves from symbolic to classical to romantic, even though each of those epochs have all of the art media represented in them, the paradigm of the symbolic is architecture. The real paradigm of the classical is sculpture because of this adequation of the human form to spiritual expression. The paradigm of the romantic, the real paradigm of the romantic, is painting and music. Why painting and music? Painting is two-dimensional. It starts to move out of the three-dimensional physical material world into the realm of pure vision, of pure representation. And music is even less material or more dematerialized. Music, the material of music is just time and rhythm. And Hegel privileges music in the Romantic because he thought that the time and rhythm of music was really representing or uniting with the time and rhythm of human thought itself. So music is the most conceptual art. But then finally, as spirit achieves self-identity, it moves away from art altogether, and it moves toward philosophy and theology. And these are the ultimate, in a way, representations of spirit. After that, spirit no longer needs art to represent itself. This is not to say that art doesn't continue. This is not to say that humans still produce art for other reasons, but for Hegel, it no longer produces art to represent spirit. So Hegel has it both ways. He constructs an aesthetic whose very conception of possibility, very condition of possibility, is that it moves through time as it more adequately represents spirit. And as the aesthetic moves through time, it becomes less material, it becomes more conceptual, until finally it becomes thought itself. And the adequate activity, the adequate process of spirit is no longer the materialization and the appearance through art, but is actually thought itself. So the aesthetic necessarily concludes at the end of history by abolishing itself and becoming thought. This doesn't mean that art will cease to exist. Art practice will continue, but it will find other opportunities, other cultural uses for its existence. Hegel has a very beautiful quotation about philosophy. Philosophy always arrives too late. As the thought of the world, it only makes its appearance after actuality has finished its process of development and is over. Only in the maturation of actuality does the ideal appear to confront the real. Then the ideal reconstructs this world for itself in the form of an intellectual realm comprehending in its substance. When philosophy paints its gray on gray, then the form of life has grown old, and this gray on gray is not capable of rejuvenating it, merely of understanding it. The owl of Minerva only begins its flight when the twilight falls.